Albanese government's compromise of petrol cars. Look, it's just one more sign that its plan to cut emissions are running way, way behind. Because this is another compromise, right? One huge problem is that all over the country, locals are revolting against having their countryside ruined by all the huge solar farms and huge wind turbines, and a quarter of a kilometre tall, mind you, and monstrous transmission lines marching over the land. 228,000 kilometres of these transmission lines are planned. This is all Chris Bowen's big plan. For instance, here's the front page of the Warrnambool Standard in Victoria yesterday. 200 locals outraged by Bowen's plan to stick the wind towers off their coast. Now, it's because of all these protests that they're everywhere that the Victorian government has announced a change. It's going to cut the right of locals to complain to the Civil and Administrative Tribunal. And it will instead give the minister the right to ram these wind and solar farms right down the locals' necks in just 4 months. And if they complain, they have to mount an expensive appeal to the Supreme Court, and only then, on a point of law, that's it. You can't say, look, what are you doing to my countryside? Now, the first project that could be forced through like that is a massive solar farm, 800 hectares, that's planned for smack bang in the Heathcote wine region in central Victoria, which is great agricultural land. This has outraged local wine producers that formed the Colbinabbin Renewable Action Group, which represents about 60 businesses, farmers and residents. Its spokesman is John Davies, who joins me now. John, thanks for your time. What's wrong with a big solar farm in your area?
Well, Andrew, there's no problem with a solar farm in our area, but as the Victorian Farmers Federation identifies, only 4% of Australia's land mass is arable. And this massive solar plant is going to be smack in the middle of land that is identified by the Campaspe Shire as strategically important for agriculture. And so, yep, fine, put it on marginal land, but don't put it on the best land that we have.
It's a weird way of using great farming land. There's been estimates, some amazing estimates of just how much farming land will be sacrificed to wind and solar farms. But here's the thing. Here is this prime land going for a solar farm, but your right to object is being taken away from you by the Labor government, isn't it?
That's correct, Andrew. But let's just peel back the onion a bit on what's defined as farming land. This is way, way, way more important than just merely flat land, grazing land. In 1990, this specific region, the Mount Camel Range, with its ancient Cambrian soil, was identified by Wine Australia as being one of the best locations for growing high-quality wine grapes. Now, it could be used for horticulture or any type of intensive farming. The soils are unique. And when you think about the contribution to Victoria's state domestic product, the highest contributor is food and fabric. Now, rural families are the essence of rural communities. Farmers actually make up exactly what goes on and is valued by residents in the country. And to have a massive solar farm right in the middle of this highly productive land is just a dereliction of duty of government.
Look, it seems to me really a crime, not just on the landscape, but absolutely the best use of the land. I don't know how this could happen, but again, just come back to that point. You can complain all you like. I mean, complain here, complain in the papers, complain, but you cannot now, it seems, have a legal opportunity to stop it unless you go to the Supreme Court, and only then on a point of law.
Yep, you're 100% right, Andrew. But I think it's even worse than that. You mentioned VCAT before. VCAT is an important appeal process for any people that feel disenfranchised with government decisions. It operates independent of government and its decisions are binding. This calling in process that's been enacted by the Victorian Labor government means that any objection we have, it goes to an appeal panel. Now, the appeal panel is appointed by the minister. And the minister doesn't have to follow the recommendations of the appeal panel. So this is a decision of one person and one person alone, with no appeal process. You mentioned
it's
a point of law to the Supreme Court. Well, good luck with that.
John, it's a fix, and all you can do is put political heat on the government. It's just outrageous. And by the way, green industry people are trying to force the New South Wales government to do something similar there because they're way behind. People don't want what they're doing, but they want to just keep you quiet and force it on you. John Davies, all strength to your struggle. Thank you so
Andrew,
much for your time.
One final comment, if I could.
Yep.
Andrew, one final comment.
Quick. Yes.
This is actually a political process, and so the state government is way behind on their renewables targets, and they're going to push a lot of these projects through, and the compromise will be rural communities. And I think
absolutely
it's
coming to
inappropriate
your
abuse
town
of power.
next. It is so undemocratic, and really appreciate you exposing this. Thanks again.